Good morning. Good morning. Oh, good, that's a little better. I was wondering why I didn't have a comment section. So good morning, happy Wednesday. I just wanted to, let's just wait just a couple minutes before we get started. Just wanted to see if anybody shows up live. So I hope everybody's having a really great Wednesday. And while we wait, I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these Universe Has Your Back affirmation cards for our Wednesday and for the rest of our week. So I'm going to pull one of these cards. When you come in, you can say hello to me, please, so I know that you're there. Oops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. Hi, Karen. I knew it was going to be you. I'm pulling one of these affirmation cards. We'll wait really quick, and then we'll just get started. So today's affirmation card is, I feel like I get this one almost every time. That's so weird. I choose to learn through love. I choose to learn through love. All right. So I'm just going to get started. I'll put these away real quick. All right. Okay, so before we get started, let's just think about, in the past 30 days, how many of those days would you classify as a bad day in the past 30 days? So let's just think on that for a second. So, and while we do that, let's talk about bad days. What makes a bad day? A bad day could be something that made you really sad, something made you angry, a partner disagreement, if you're overwhelmed at work, pain problems, especially if you have like chronic illness or just, bad pain problems, depression, anxiety, maybe a day that you didn't feel fulfilled. Those can all cause bad days. And if we're not careful, those bad days can screw up our whole entire week. It can one day can lead to the next day being crummy and the next day being crummy. So let's talk about how to avoid that. Let's talk about how to make sure that that one bad day one little wobble does not mess up your whole week. Okay, so number one of the 5 ways. Number one is feel your feelings or not. So usually when we have a bad day, we classify it as a bad day because of our feelings. I had a bad day. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling dumb. I'm feeling, whatever I'm feeling. It's making this a bad day. So one of the ways that we sometimes try to fix it is to find a distraction or numb our feelings. I'm having a bad day, so I'm going to binge watch Netflix, blah, 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 blah. And that's not particularly a bad thing, but there are primary feelings and there are secondary feelings. So primary feelings are the valid feelings that you're feeling, like sadness, like I'm angry, I'm sad, like something happened and it caused you to feel like it's usually angry or sad. Those are like the valid feelings. So when you have these feelings, you can just allow yourself to just sit in that feeling for a few minutes. Just sit in that feeling. Just for a couple minutes. Really feel sad. Cry if you need to. Have like a little bit of a cathartic breakthrough, right? And just give yourself the permission to feel the feeling instead of pushing that feeling away. So you're going to feel that feeling, and then we take some deep breaths and we prepare to get on with the day. So once you do that, once you feel that primary feeling and you allow yourself to sit with it for a few minutes and you move on with your day. Now after you move on with your day, that might mean you binge watch like your favorite Netflix show. Like that's fine. It's not distracting you from feeling the feeling because you already spent some time with that feeling. Okay, so I called those feelings primary feelings. And then I when we have these feelings of being sad or angry or whatever, We also can have these secondary feelings, which are feelings that are spawned by the primary feelings, like shame, not good enough, vindictive, like all of these like weird, like outer feelings. And you don't need to feel, do not sit with these feelings, because these feelings are made up feelings caused by your actual feelings, right? So when you feel like that, when you feel like shame and you feel not good enough, or you feel like vindictive, or like I'm going to cause revenge or whatever, ask yourself why you're feeling these feelings. Because sometimes we feel the shame or we feel the not good enough without feeling sad or without feeling angry. We just feel like, I feel ashamed, I feel not good enough, I feel like I'm never going to be able to do XYZ. I feel like I'm an imposter, like imposter syndrome. I feel like all of my friends don't like me and they're just pretending. You know, all of these like weird like feelings that if your best friend felt these feelings, you would not let her. You would try to get her out of these feelings, right? So you can be your own best friend and ask yourself why you're feeling this feeling. And see if it's because you're sad, or if it's because you're angry, or, you know, what that feeling is. And then again, you can sit with that for a few minutes and then take some deep breaths and go on with your day. But when you're asking yourself why you're feeling these feelings, like you can kind of slip into like witness mode. So you can kind of disengage and be a little objective and really do some contemplation. Why do I feel shame right now? Why do I feel vindictive? And, you know, it can be anger, it can be sadness, you know, that sort of thing. Okay, so you get to the root cause and, you know, find that valid feeling, and then you can sit with it. So that's number one. Number two is create a gratitude list. Now, this is something that you may have done before, some sort of gratitude practice. So it's pretty easy. You get a piece of paper and a pen and create a list of everything you're thankful for, right? Make it fun. If you're having a bad day, you're not going to feel fun. Like, you're just probably not going to. So know that it's good for you to try to make this fun. Okay, so get colored pens out if you have stickers. I have this technique that I use when I get stuck writing. This can be mind mapping, excuse me, or whatever, or when I'm doing a gratitude list. I have my colored pens, and I just get a blank piece of like typing paper, and that's what I use to write, right? So I'm writing down everything I'm grateful for, and then when I get stuck and I can't think of anything else, I switch colors. And that intentional switching of colors can switch something on in your brain that will trigger some creativity, and then you'll start thinking of more things. At least that's how it's always worked for me. So think about doing that, switching colors. It can get you unstuck and get your, you know, your gratitude energy flowing again. And you might be surprised, if you've never done a gratitude list like this, you might be surprised how quickly this can change your feeling. And don't just think about the things that you're grateful for, actually write them down. I know it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to do a gratitude list, blah, 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 you know, but actually take the time to write all of your gratitude, like what you're grateful for, down, and then just look at it. You can meditate with it, you can put it on the wall, or if you want to, you could do it, you could fold it up and burn it in a burning ceremony if you wanted to, you know, just as an offering of gratitude of everything you're grateful for. Okay. Number 3 is celebrate your successes. So write down a few wins that you've had in the past few days. That's number 3. It probably won't be as long as, it might not be as long as your gratitude list. If it is, that's awesome. They don't have to be big wins. It could be, I got my kid to sleep even though he didn't take a nap. It could be, I went to the grocery store and didn't intentionally run over the people that are in the middle of the aisles with their carts blocking everything. It can be, you know, anything like that. But it could be also, you know, I got a new client today, or I finished my website, or I, you know, I cooked dinner 4 out of 7 times this week. You know, anything that you feel is a win. Write them down. Again, don't just think about like, oh yeah, no, I did that and I did that. No, write them down. Like there's something that happens when you speak things aloud and when you write things down. Like it really helps manifest things, right? So write them down and then decide how you're going to celebrate these wins. Like do a celebration. Do something out of the ordinary for you, and do it intentionally. Don't just be like, I'm gonna go get ice cream. Think to yourself, I'm gonna go get ice cream because I did all of these awesome things in the past couple days or the past week. Look at all these awesome things that I did. And you might not feel, you might write down your successes and you might start to go get your ice cream. And as you're like driving to get your ice cream, you might think this doesn't feel like it's working, but it really does work. Just really think about how awesome you are. Like you did all of these things. And you're celebrating them. And that in itself should be celebrated. So just do something out of the ordinary for you. If you haven't, if you a pair of jeans, you've been putting that off, like, and just go buy your pair of jeans or go out to ice cream or go out to dinner or go to the park or go to a girls' night out or, do something that is different to celebrate your wins. Okay. Number 4, interrupt your pattern. So you can change the way you're feeling just by changing your physical perspective, right? So if you spend most of your time inside, then take some time outside. So like me, I do a lot of work here at the computer. I'm here in the morning. I'm here, usually in the afternoon and into the night. I'm almost always working on something. So to interrupt my pattern, I would go take a walk, or even if it's just going on errands, go somewhere, go do your errands, even though it's not your errand day, or, walk your dog, or sit out on your patio and read, or just get outside. If you're inside, get outside. That's it. If you spend most of your time outside, take some inside time, watch some TV, read a book, look at magazines, work on a craft project. Just really changing your pattern, changing what you're looking at, changing your environment can create a shift that will make you feel better. If you're usually extroverting, then introvert, or vice versa. Try just to interrupt that pattern. And number 5 is realize that tomorrow is another day. Like, say that out loud to yourself if you have to. You are going to sleep and start over again tomorrow, right? So, and make some plans for the next day. You're going to go to sleep, like as you're sleeping, you're, just say tomorrow's going to be a new day. Make some plans for the new day. Maybe, the gratitude list, or celebrating your successes, or changing your pattern. One of those things you could always, make some plans. Don't allow yourself just to be like, well, tomorrow's another day. I don't know what I'm going to do, whatever, because you're more likely to just kind of wallow in your bad day, right? So move forward the next day and try not to dwell on the past day, because it's different, it's over, it's gone. Now you've got a blank slate, and what are you going to do today, right? You're going to crush it. And above all, just be kind to yourself. We tend to treat ourselves not nearly as well as we would treat our best friend. When I'm trying to reframe something for somebody, I like to use the best friend, like, metaphor, analogy, or whatever. What would you do if your best friend was saying this? And almost always it's, oh, I would tell her to go out to lunch, or do something to get her mind off of it, whatever. So then do that for yourself. And this came about because last week I had this amazing job that would be perfect for me. I really have done interview after interview and assignment and interview, and I found out on Friday that I did not get that job. And they basically told me that I didn't do a good enough job on my writing, which is fine. But on Friday, it was not fine. I really wanted that job so badly. And I had to just figure out how I wasn't gonna let that ruin my weekend. So that's kind of where this live stream came from. I did some of these things and it worked really well. And really do realize that tomorrow's another day. So really quickly, let's talk about self-care. Because some of these steps that I just talked about would be considered self-care, right? So I'm just going to go 1 through 5 again. I'm just going to list them. Number 1 is feel your feelings or not, which is your primary feelings versus your secondary feelings. Number 2 is create a gratitude list. Number 3 is celebrate your successes. Number 4 is interrupt your pattern. Number 5 is realize that tomorrow is another day. So I just want to wrap up and talk about self-care for a second. Don't let your plans for self-care trick you. So sometimes when we think about self-care, we think about resting and relaxing. But sometimes resting and relaxing ends up being dwelling and can make things worse, right? So, sorry guys, a lot of talking. It can make things worse. So ask yourself, what is best for me right now? And try to answer yourself from an objective place, right? So don't let this idea of self-care equals resting. I'm just gonna, distract myself from my feelings or just dwelling on my feelings. Don't let that idea and that definition of self-care trick you. So my question to you, and whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the replay, I know it's kind of an awkward time. So, and I want you to write this in the comments, whether you're live or whether you're catching the replay. And my question to you is, what is your biggest takeaway, or which of these strategies do you think that would work? Which of these strategies do you think will work best for you the next time you have a bad day? Okay, so that is it. This is perfect. It was only 15 minutes, which is exactly what I was looking for. So I hope that these strategies help you. They certainly helped me, and I've shared them, and they've helped other people as well. So I hope that they help you, and I will talk to you later. Don't forget to post your takeaway or your strategy that'll work best for you. Bye.